What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. Real quick, I was just looking at a video of Tyson Fury, and they were asking him, his strategy and game plan on how to beat Deontay Wilder. And these, of course, the charismatic Tyson Fury started with the mind games. But it's funny about his mind games because he comes off, he has some tricky words in there, but he throws some like shade and truth as a little mixture in a pot as he speaks, and they were asking him about, his game plan, of course, and the legitimacy of Deontay Wilder. Of course, his toughest opponent he agreed, was Luis Ortiz, and he said Luis Ortiz was an old man when he fought. He was 49 years old or whatever, and you can't be great at 49. This is a young person sport. That's why he's a young person fighting another undefeated fighter. Imagine if he would have fought him 10 years ago, and I'm quoting this from Tyson Fury, he would have knocked out Deontay Wilder in 10 rounds. Let me in there. What Tyson Fury said was absolutely correct, but I'll go a step further. If Deontay Wilder would have fought Ortiz 3 years ago, that would have been a totally different fight. Because I noticed, I followed King Kong, and I've seen him in the Jennings fight. I've seen him in other fights, the Malik Scott fight. I've seen he still has the skill, but I've seen his reflexes kind of get a little slower. Especially in the Deontay Wilder fight, his reflexes were not as sharp as they were 2 or 3 years ago. Referencing what Tyson Fury said, that it's a young man's sport and time waits for no man. And that's true. Again, I believe that a lot of people are freezing out Ortiz because they know he is still dangerous. And when he becomes to that notch that he's not as dangerous, let's say he would have went 12 rounds or 10 rounds with Cazano, the guy he knocked out in 2. If he would have went 10 rounds with, then I believe people would have wanted to make that fight, or people would have been disinterested in that fight and not wanted to make that fight. But since that fight was 2 rounds, they're like, no, he's still dangerous. He still has the power, still has the footwork. You can't really overlook him. So let's freeze him out. That's my opinion. But I know Deontay Wilder is a guy that like Tyson Fury said, he will try to knock you out, or he'll get knocked out trying to knock you out. And that's a good opportunity. That's a good mentality to have in boxing, because, with those many knockouts and you've knocked out everybody you've ever fought, it's a safe bet in keeping that mentality for knocking guys out, because that alone will silence all critics. You know what I mean? You'll never say, anybody can never say about Deontay Wilder is, they can never say they robbed him, or he robbed someone and did a decision, because the only decision it went to was the Stavern, and he knocked Stavern out in 1 round. But look at Stavern's age. Okay, you have to play that in, and that was probably his second hardest task, or his second hardest fight ever, right? Or a second most credible fighter on his resume. So I look at Deontay Wilder as a guy that, Rocky Marciano also had that same mentality. He didn't go for points. He went for the KOs. That's why he was 49-0 and 43, right? So Deontay Wilder, he needs to keep that mentality if he wants to beat Tyson Fury, and the only way he'll beat Tyson Fury is by a knockout. You know what I mean? Or if it's some corruption there, because we've talked about corruption, I don't know how the hell he had I don't know how they had him beating Luis Ortiz in 10 rounds, because you don't count the 10th round, right? The 10th round is when it was over. So from rounds 1 through 9, they had Deontay Wilder beating Ortiz. So I have to make that known too. I thought that was strange, so that fight just had protection all over it. So, but in either way, the knockout did come or whatever. So it's still, a sure thing when you knock out an opponent. But anyway, the mind games of Tyson Fury, He also mentioned Joshua. He said Joshua's reluctant to fight him because he knows with the awkwardness and the speed and the power. Deontay Wilder's a dangerous opponent. Now, that's him kind of touching a little bit at Anthony Joshua, because if he wins, Anthony Joshua will more than likely be the next opponent to face him. You know what I mean? So, you know, I guess you throw shade or play mind games with your future opponent. You know what I mean? A little pre-mind game strategy that Tyson Fury has, and that, you know, that he's good at doing. So big ups to him. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this particular video. Please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunched. Peace.